Hi, this is Jason, and for some reason, I have hair. I also wave like this. And this animation program makes my eyes dart around for absolutely no discernible reason. But you can just ignore all of that because I have some exciting news to share. The new expanded Resilient Recovery Workbook is going to be available in just a few weeks. I had to create a new edition. By facilitating the meetings in various rehabs at church and online, I gained some insight about what works and what doesn't work in a meeting. I would take notes on when the vocabulary wasn't clear, when a question fell flat, and when a topic really got people talking and processing. I also had a good conversation with Jonathan Mast, the author of many works of fiction and nonfiction. The link to that discussion is in the notes below. That conversation helped me get clear about the purpose and intent of this workbook. I realized I had to make some cuts that were painful, but necessary to improve the clarity and effectiveness. So what's new? There are now 41 lessons instead of 18. This means a person can attend Resilient for over 10 months without ever seeing a lesson twice. I've also replaced the devotions with relatable stories. Stories convey information better, and they're more enjoyable. The content of the book, its topics, stories, and questions, focus on addiction alone and often on homelessness. I'm following Christ's example here. He did not hang out in heaven with God in paradise for eternity. He came down to our level. In fact, he worked alongside and ministered to people who were not the with-it, successful go-getters of the world. So this book is filled with anecdotes from participants who have shared their worst and most socially unacceptable days with us. This book is designed to assure people who have been rejected that they are welcome in a Resilient Recovery meeting. We found it was important to be able to explain Resilient meetings in a snapshot. Even an elevator speech would be too long. So we've created this page, which contains our model of addiction and our understanding of how a Resilient meeting, with its confession and forgiveness format, addresses addiction. Things that might be read or referred to in a meeting are gathered in the front. The FAQ, the How It Works page, the group sharing guidelines, and the Resilient acrostic are all next to each other. There's no more turning from page 83 for the guidelines to 25 for the Resilient acrostic to 89 for this other thing, back to 34 and see some bit of information. Now, here are some things you won't see in the new version. Not every question is open-ended. I used to think that open-ended questions get people talking and give them maximum freedom about what to say. But in the context of a Resilient meeting, people often open up with close-ended questions. Also, the close-ended questions are easier to understand. So we ask things simply like, did drinking and drug use help or hurt your social life? Did drugs and alcohol make you happier? Were you a good employee when you were using? I found that people react well to these questions and they do a good amount of processing. There's no more confusing and obscure title headings. These old headings were relics from earlier versions of the book. No one read them or even knew what they meant. There's no more long intro. The last edition had a great story. It was the story of the woman who washed the feet of Jesus with her tears, and I'll use it somewhere else, but it doesn't get used in the meeting, so it has to go. Finally, the old translation of the Bible is gone. The new translation we're using is called the New International Reader's Version. It's easier to read, and it eliminates the need to know certain facts and vocabulary. Other translations forced me into the position of Bible teacher. I'd have to explain the vocabulary and the context of the verses in order to get the discussion going. I want facilitators to be peers, not Bible instructors. So taken all together, these changes represent what I think is the best Resilient Recovery Workbook so far. And I really want to thank all of my supporters who have been with me through this, and all the people in the rehabs that have helped me create these lessons. Without your support, I would not have had the time to experiment and tinker until I got it right. This new workbook is the best ever, and I am so thankful that you helped me create it.